Mr. Gustavo Pinedo Mahr is the COO of Blue Genetics Mexico. He is a member of the Board of Directors and legal representative of Grupo Mahr. He has served as Director and Technical Project Supervisor Pro Innova from 2010 to 2014 in partnership with various research projects on shrimp genetic hyperintensive farming and probiotic development for aquaculture.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to introduce really quick to myself. My name is Gustavo Pinedo. I am the COO of Blue Genetics since June of this year. I want to thank the authority for CIBA for this opportunity to give to us. Thank you very much. My presentation is going to be more about a dream that started 10 years ago. Just talking with my brother that is sitting over here and some scientific from CIBNOR, that is a really big institute, research institute in La Paz, Baja California Sur. So let's begin. First of all, I want to say who is now behind us. Behind us is Group Grimaud, that it's a really big company in genetics in the world. In some species is the number one, and in some other species is the number 2 or 3. They have two principal areas. The main area is the animal genetic selection, as you can look in the graphic, and the other area that they are developed in this moment with a lot of strong is the biopharmacy area. This is the structure today of Grimaud in the aquaculture. So how we are now, it's they make a Blue Genetic holding company. Then we create with Blue Genetic holding and Grupo Mahr, Blue Genetic Mexico. That was more or less in 2013, 2012, we have the first approach. And then in 2014, more or less, we came to India to talk with a group, everybody of you know, that is BMR. And now we have BMR Blue Genetic India. Who support us in the scientific part? Like I told you, the first one is CIBNOR, when we start with them in 2009. It's a public research center in Mexico that transfers innovation knowledge in the field of biological science. CIAD also is a food and development center, Technological Institute of Sonora, and obviously the University of Arizona, testing all the samples to be sure of our SPF animals. Where we are located in the world? Well, in the world we are in Mexico. We are located in the state of Baja California Sur, that is in the north. It's like an island. It's really insulated. We are bordered in the north by the state of Baja California, that is the one that serves nearest the United States. By the north, to the west by the Pacific Ocean, and to the east by the Gulf of California or Sea of Cortez. The Gulf of California was called by Jacques Cousteau the aquarium of the world because of its pristine waters and the biodiversity we have there. This is our facilities and health protocol we use it. We choose this area because we are really isolated. Even the state of Baja California is really insulated. This area is totally insulated. We don't have any farm around 100 kilometers around. So we have amazing waters, and there's no any production facility near us. We use really hard disinfections and biosecurity process. We start obviously in the seawater. We have a well point system, We pump the water from the ocean. We go direct to a big sun filter and UV filter system, ozone treatment, again UV system, and then they go to the reservoirs. In all our facilities, we are all the time using the best quality brand equipment to be sure that our quality of the water, our water quality is always the best. This is really a graph. I'm not going to go really inside this graph, but it's how we start with the genetic nucleus. We make our artificial insemination to obtain all our families. We sample all the animals to be sure we are on SPF. We are always FPF. We make a lot of analysis, then we go to the growth out area, then we go again to a conditioning area where we prepare all the animals that sent to the market until the end. Our animals arrive to the quarantine of some specific country. How we start the origin of our stock? Our stocks is based practically in some lines from Mexico. In Mexico, the industry really started strong in 1996. So in that moment that I told you we are sitting 5 crazy people or 4 crazy people with the scientifics, we just said, why we don't create the first program of SPF in Mexico? Because in Mexico we never, until 2009, nobody has SPF program. So we start with a line from another big company of Mexico, and our original brood stock to create the G0 generation in 2009. So, like I told you, we start this program with the Cibnor. That's the beginnings. The name of the program was a sheep genetic breeding program for high growth, low inbreeding, and specific pathogen-free status, using molecular markers. I'm not an expert in molecular markers or in genetics, so I just follow the instruction of the people that know. This project was founded with some grants of the CONACYT, that is the National Science and Technology Council. They used to give good grants for research in Mexico. What was the objectives of the main, our first plan that started in 2009 and we developed until 2013? Of course, increase the productivity through genetic selection. It was a mass selection. Increase weight at harvest. We try to increase in that moment 3 to 5% per generation in growth. Minimize genetic variability, loss, and maintain low inbreeding using genetic markers. So, and of course, improvement of a really strong biosecurity measures. Then, in 2010-12, we have the opportunity to meet Group Grimaud people, and we start talking with them. So we can say this is the first that the dream start being true. And we contact with Group Grimaud. So we start the second phase of our program, and we, with another program, grants also from the France government and Mexican government. The name was Technologically Innovative Program, Mexico Farm for the Genetic Improvement of the Specific Pathogen-Free Aquaculture Shrimp. That is more or less what happened when we met Group Guimont. We make a strategic alliance in 2012. We involved with the, again, with the CIBNOR, CISAF, that is a scientific institution from genetic in France. We received funds or grants for CONACYT and OSIO, that is in France. After this strategic alliance, we create the new company, the name Blue Genetic Mexico. So the first dream, part of the dream, was a reality. Then, after we finish with that, we create a strategy 2015 to 2018. So what we want, obviously, like everybody, speed up performance of growth line, obviously robustness, no? And generate a disease-resistant line. So what we do it in the speed up performance ground, at the beginning, like I told, we have a mass selection program of 250 more or less families or more. And then in 2016, we start with a family breeding system of 120 families produced per generation with lowering breeding and elite brood stock selection. Within family selection, looking for robustness and growth, more of that. This is all the evolution of our program that you can see since the first generation to the G10 generation. Now we are in the G11 generation. Here was when we have mass selection program, no? And then we changed to a family selection program. What the estimate gain growth rate under control condition in La Paz breeding farms, no? The G0, more or less, our growth was 0.9 per week. And after 8 generations, we grew 1.7 grams per week. Obviously, the time of culture reduced, no? Sorry. This is what happened, we are doing now. In the beginning, when we have the mass selection, we just have one selection. And then from the G9 to the G10 and the G7, we have 2 cuts or 2 selections. We have one first selection and then a second selection to try to increase the pressure, the pressure of selection. So this is a G10 description program. We start with 160 families. We grow to PLs, and at the end we try to have the 120 families we want for the program. That I said, we have two selections at 2 grams and at 20 grams. So we select breeders within each family among family certification of the breeders through the elastomers. So to be sure we can follow the families. And then we go to the maturation area, we mating, and we start the process again. This is expected theoretical genetic progress. We want, the goal here is to try to optimize the selection operation to 8% and gain genetic 2.2 grams at 25 weeks or the equivalent, 0.9 grams per week more, 0.09 grams per week. This is the summary of our breeding program. Obviously, it's trait selecting growth, criteria weight, offset at about 20 grams, in breeding level less than 2%, and genetic progress 0.01 grams per week every generation. This is the genetic plan flow chart. No, that it's like any raw one. We have the broodstock maturation area. We make artificial insemination to know exactly who is the father and the mother. Individual spawnings, larval ready, obviously individual, juvenile growth, selection of candidates, status, all the time we check the status of FPF, regularly every 2 months, or sometimes we make more times, but it's just to be sure of everything. We tag in and take a pleopod to sampling for DNA, and then the cycle start again. This is the genetic markers, as you can look how our people doing. We have the Pologo 4R, the genetic diversity survey, crossbreeding design, and we have a database for the genetic reading program. This is to show you the candidates, the tagging, sample collection, and everything, how our people do it. Now this is the database we use. This is our collaboration with all the scientifics and our people. At the beginning, we tried to use, and we use pig tagging. We have some problems because when the animal lost the shell, sometimes we lost the tagging, but now we are trying to do it again with a small tagging. We have artificial insemination process, female gonad observation, and you can look there the spermatage of the female. No? This is part of our facilities, the larval rearing individual, the juvenile rearing in individual cages. This is our people from France and from Mexico and working together. So, what is the strategic of Blue Genetic in 2019-2021? Obviously, the dream of all aquaculture, extreme aquaculture farmer and all the hatcheries to combine selection of growth and disease resistance. It's hard that you hear in all presentations, but it's not impossible. So this is quickly what we want to do, that's our goals. This is, we have, with Group Grimaud and us, we have a status of innovation. We try to be the first company to implement DNA parentage assessments on a commercial scale. First with microsatellites and now with the SNPs. We are working in that. Emphasis on parent PL to have breeders better adapted to local condition and efficiency in transportation. A systematic approach to come up with an SPR solution, including a large comparative study to identify the more resistant line in each local environmental, and creations of a more robust line, including white spot resistant through SPR-AF and hybrid vigor. This is something complicated, but we are going to try it. This is the people that are behind us, no? All the team from Mexico and from France. This is our experience in India. We started in 2016 with the first sending animals. I don't want to be too much in this. This is some results we have real in the wild. This is in high salinity. This is another results in farms. And after 4 years or 10 years, the dream comes a reality here in India, and this is what we obtain of these good people from here in India. Oh, great. Oh, we have problems with the video. I don't know why. No, it's not available. Sorry. I passed to the people, but it's not here. So this is the facilities at the end. We finished with the Blue Genetic company, and we made the MBC center that is in Nellore, about 60 kilometers from to the north of Nellore. So thank you very much.